Hello everyone, hope you're all well. So for this video I want to talk a wee bit about calories, and I've been prompted I suppose to do that just from a few questions from clients, a few questions from people who were interested in my 14-day sugar-free challenge, which would be great if you sign up for, and also prompted just listening to some of the debates around the government's plans to put calories and the amount of calories on menus. And this whole calorie debate has got to be the most highly contested in the nutrition world, on a par with the whole debate between low carb or low fat. Which is better, which should we go with? And as we women get older, for many of us, calories can seem more important, and they are of somewhat importance, in the all too common midlife weight gain scenario. But listen to the quotes below, right? And literally I just did a wee bit of Googling, and this is what came up. Calories are just a big fat lie. Losing weight is simply a case of calories in versus calories out. Then there's a calorie is a calorie is a calorie. All calories are equal. And then the next one was all calories are not equal. And there was a whole big article on that. Next couple was just count calories. And the next headline was stop counting calories. So these are all comments from various different diet and nutrition websites, conflicting information, right? But all using different science things to back them up. So you would be right in thinking, what's going on, right? And I suppose just before I do go on, I do just want to briefly comment on my thoughts on the government's plans to put calories on restaurant menus in England. And I know they're, thinking of doing that in Ireland as well, and the Northern Ireland Assembly will no doubt be not too far behind. But they're doing this to try to combat the growing obesity crisis, which is a crisis, right? But oh my God, there's just so much more that they could do instead of this. Apart from the fact that doing that could really exacerbate or contribute to existing eating disorders, it's just not a well thought out strategy in my opinion, and it seems to be based on the premise that all calories are equal. So here's my tuppence worth as well, right? Calories are never the first thing that I will look at or consider when I'm looking at a label or thinking about a food, and it's definitely not the first thing that I work through with my clients or help them to understand, right? It's not that calories don't matter, but the quality of the calories going in and the type of the calorie can affect the number of calories going out. That is your body's ability to metabolize and burn off those calories. So the source and the nutrient density of the calories are just as important, if not more important. So that's the basis of kind of what I'm talking about. So, and it's not with my clients that I don't talk about calories, I do. So say, for example, on my 8-week weight loss program, which we're kind of on about week 5 now, I think. Week 5, yes. And it'll probably be next week that I'm talking about calories and portions and things like that. We've talked about loads of other things, proteins, fats, carbohydrates, all of that beforehand. So it is important to be mindful of, especially for weight loss clients, but it's not the whole story. And it's really by the time my clients are a good few weeks in with me, they know how and when to think about calories and in what context, and when not to think about calories. Okay, so as I said, it's not that calories don't matter at all, but they matter much less than we have been led to believe, and they're not the whole story. Metabolism and how our bodies consume, absorb, burn off, all that, right, is much too complex to be reduced to just calories in and calories out. It's never that simple. Like, that doesn't take into account stress and sleep and all that. It's too simplistic an approach. And it kind of suggests that the result of ingesting calories from a fizzy drink has the same effect as ingesting calories from almonds, and it's just not the case. Now, if you were looking at those calories in a laboratory in an isolated, simulated situation, the law of thermodynamics would say that yes, they're exactly the same. They're going to give off that same amount of energy. But this doesn't apply to like a living, breathing, digesting system that has so much else going on. When you eat food, this whole isolated system of what's happening in the energy part of the equation just goes out the window, because the food interacts with you and your biology and a whole complex adaptive system like your immune system and your gut, everything, and it instantly transforms every single bite that you eat. So I kind of want to illustrate this just a wee bit more for you, right? And if we kind of follow, say, 500 calories from fizzy drinks, we'll use that as an example because it's like one of the real hardcore, sugar, fructose and glucose thing that you can get. So I'm using both ends of the spectrum here, and 500 calories of broccoli, right, once they enter your body. So you take the drink, the fizzy drink, your gut absorbs the fibre-free sugars, fructose and glucose. The glucose spikes your blood sugar. You've heard me talking about the blood sugars before, and that starts a whole domino effect and cascade, starting with a high insulin, a cascade of hormonal responses that just kicks bad biochemistry into gear. The high insulin increases the storage of belly fat, which is what we're all working against as we get older. It increases inflammation. Again, as we get older, inflammation has a tendency to rise, so we don't want anything else increasing it. It raises triglycerides and lowers HDL, right? So, that's your whole cholesterol stuff, and raises blood pressure. So if you're suffering with any of those conditions, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, worried about belly fat, have an inflammatory condition, your ears should be pricking up now. So what happens next is your appetite is increased. So we're still on this sugar and what it's the sugary drink that you've just had. Your appetite is increased because of insulin's effect on your brain chemistry. The insulin then blocks your appetite control, which is a hormone called leptin. You become leptin resistant over time. And your brain never gets the "I'm full" signal. Instead, it thinks you're absolutely starving. And your pleasure-based reward system is triggered, just like a wee switch flicked on, right? And that drives you to consume more sugar and fuels that addiction, right? And the fructose in these sugary sweet things makes things worse. It goes right to your liver, right, where it starts manufacturing fat, triggers more insulin, causes elevated blood glucose. Again, as I talked about there, and more inflammation leads to like fatty liver, not from just one drink of Coke now, but what we're talking about is if you're consuming these on and on and on, okay? Another problem with the fructose in the drink is that it doesn't send that informational feedback back to the brain, signaling that a whole load of calories has just hit the body. Nor does it reduce ghrelin, which is another appetite hormone that is usually reduced whenever you eat food, okay? So you can see now how those calories in that fizzy drink can create this whole chaotic storm in the body, as well as providing you with calories that you have to burn off, okay? So there's no fibre, no vitamins, no minerals, no phytonutrients to help you to process the calories. They're literally just empty calories, these, high sugary calories that are devoid of any nutritional value. What happens is sometimes whenever I'm talking about things like this, people think I'm exaggerating until they do something like my 10-day sugar-free challenge that I did last November, and I'm doing the 14-day sugar-free challenge. And pretty much at the end of that, they'll have understood just because of what's happening to themselves. And like after that, you start eating fruit again. You start eating things that you used to eat again. Not fruit, you'll be eating fruit on the sugar-free challenge. I don't mean fruit, but and it all tastes so much sweeter. So it's at that stage you kind of have to be careful. But anyway, I'm digressing and talking about my sugar-free challenge. But anyway, let's look at the broccoli now, right? So we're consuming the broccoli. And as with the drink, these calories are made up from carbohydrates, so they're all carbohydrates, but the broccoli carbohydrates are slowly digested. They don't lead to blood sugar and insulin spikes, so it doesn't start that whole thing off again. And whereas like something like sugar, bread, white bread, Coke, things like that, are digested quickly and absorbed quickly. Any of the sugars that are in your broccoli are not. They're what we would call slow carbs. They're reduced or released really, really slowly. Now, I know you couldn't eat that same amount of calories in terms of broccoli, so we're just using this for an example. But the broccoli also contains so much fiber that not too many of the calories actually get absorbed. And as I said, what does get absorbed is absorbed very, very slowly. There's also, and this is what's really important, no triggering of that reward, that addiction thing that goes on with the brain. And here's what I love. You also get the extra benefits from the nutrient density of that food. Benefits that optimize your metabolism, so help you to burn off quicker, lower cholesterol, reduce inflammation, and boost your detoxification. So this is either like, I'm talking broccoli here, but it could be like any of those nice, bright, colourful vegetables. The phytonutrients help to boost your liver's ability to detoxify all the environmental chemicals that we're taking in that we don't know that we are, and that somehow we can't stop, or that we've no control over. And the flavonoids in the fruits and the vegetables are really powerful anti-inflammatories. If you do look at broccoli specifically, it contains really high levels of vitamin C and folate, which protect against cancer and heart disease. So I know I've kind of gone at both ends of the spectrum there, but what I'm just trying to illustrate is that all calories are not created equal. The same number of calories from two different types of foods have very different biological effects. Now, that being said, if you're trying to lose or maintain your weight, calories will be a player, right? If you eat too many calories, if you eat more than you need, even the healthy nutrient-dense ones, you could find that you're gaining weight. So how to choose? You want to be considering the nutrient density of the food, right? And why does nutrient density matter? For all of those reasons that I was talking about whenever I was talking about the broccoli. The amount of the nutrients a food contains per calorie can vary greatly, and that's what we should be considering whenever we're thinking about, will I eat this or will I eat that? Whenever you're either looking at labels or you're trying to consider which food that you're going to choose. And if you're looking on a menu and you want to have a healthy choice, that's what you're looking for the information on. Not just calories aren't going to tell you that. So nutrient dense foods will provide higher amounts of vitamins and minerals. Your fruits are going to be more nutrient dense than donuts. Calorie for calorie, fruit's going to give you a larger dose of the vitamins and the minerals and the beneficial compounds that you find in plants. And other examples of what would be called nutrient dense foods would be like vegetables, whole grains, legumes, all your pulses, your meats if it's good quality, your fish if it's good quality, and the same with your poultry if it's good quality, and some dairy products, and some of your nuts and seeds. But your processed foods, things like white pasta, cookies, crisps, ice creams, alcohol, all of those are considered to have low nutrient density. I'm not saying never to eat them. I'm just saying to get the balance right. Okay, so you want more nutrient dense foods and saving the others for just your treat time. I like my ice cream just as much as anybody. Okay, So the advice is to steer clear of processed foods as much as possible, reduce your refined sugars, and eat your whole grains and your vegetables and things like that. Now, reducing your refined sugars can be easier said than done. Sometimes we get into a real grip of kind of like a sugar crush of, you know, either biscuits or bread or, you know, sweets, chocolates, things like that. And you get into a cycle because of the whole reward thing that I was talking around of not being able to stop. And whereas 1 or 2 biscuits used to do, you know, you're half a packet, and the next thing you know, you're eating a whole packet, right? So if that's you and you feel that you're in a grip of, you know, refined sugars, you may consider joining my 14-day sugar-free challenge. I have some information in the link there, and I'll put some in the comments. And if you're watching on Instagram, the link will be on my bio. Okay, so there'll be loads of support, loads of information, recipes and explanations. And 14 days is long enough to help you to break that cycle, but not too long, okay? And then I help you with reintroducing things as well, so you're not going sugar-free for the rest of your life. And here's the thing, folks. If you're eating out once in a while, you don't be looking at calories. Don't be thinking about it. Have the dessert if you want it, and back to your healthy choices the next day. That's what I do. So you know, enjoy your meal out without obsessing too much over calories. So I hope you find that useful. And as I say, I'd love to see you in my 14-day sugar-free challenge. If you've any questions about that at all, just pop me a message and I can arrange to give you a call. Have a great day. Bye.